We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Let's just punch it.
I punched it.
Just
You're
punch it right through it.
watch on YouTube, and if you are, go ahead and subscribe, bastards.
You bastards. Punch
Yeah,
the
much
subscribe button.
you know
Punch it.
how much work I put into that video week over week?
Couple minutes, right?
Yeah, takes a while. First, I have to wait for Dave to upload it to me. That takes a couple days.
I like
So,
to. I don't know what I'm doing with it.
so on Sundays, I try. So we never talk about this, our
Yeah.
schedule. You post the audio from this meeting usually the day after we record.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
change that
typically,
though.
oh, we are. What you gonna do now?
I think Friday.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah,
And then I try to post the video by Sunday at noon, but sometimes Dave's procrastination gets in the way of that
well,
schedule.
let's talk about that. If I don't procrastinate as much, is there any way you could get it up on Saturday?
She plays your cards right.
The video.
Oh, the video. Probably not, just because I have to sit down at this PC and do the work.
Okay.
It's the only one with enough
So
horsepower.
I don't know if I'm crazy. Maybe Pat Kelly can weigh in. We're gonna have
All
to
right.
put him on the payroll before this damn thing's over. But I was just thinking that maybe you're mowing the yard, you're sitting around doing nothing on the weekend. The likelihood, or Friday, if I get it up Friday morning, you know how hard that is. How
Well, a lot of
difficult
times
that
you
is.
wake up with that problem, but
Not anymore. I just wet the bed now. Anyway, so
it depends for that.
so if I publish it so it's up Friday morning, then I'm thinking people can listen to it on their casual Friday at work, because all of our people are tuning in,
Yeah.
and then and maybe have it over the weekend. I don't know. I think the fact that we did it Wednesday, there are some people though, if we look at the analytics, that tune in right away on Wednesday.
Yeah, I tend to see things on the YouTube video. I get a few clicks right away, and then over the week it'll pick up. Now, of course, with the podcast and anything, there's plenty of old material to listen to as well. And since we're
Yeah.
not so, I don't think we're very topical in terms of current events, right?
No, I think we
So,
just make up stuff.
yeah, that's what I do. I had a day in history to share on the screen, but Dave told me it wasn't
Well,
good
you
enough.
can mention it. I just don't want to dwell on it.
Well, it's in this day in history, the Amityville horrors occurred. So I had the picture of the murdered dead bodies on the screen. He wasn't big on that. So no, I had the picture of the Amityville house. I don't think I ever saw that movie.
Can you imagine being a realtor? Oh, real.
Well, it's sold a couple times since.
This is a real dollhouse. You're gonna love this one.
I will tell you this. So the house my mom bought in Ormond Beach, Florida, I was seventh grade. So what's that make you, like 12, 13 years old?
Yeah. Bastard.
And my grandmother, her mother lived in Daytona, so they were nearby. Anyhow, she bought this house, and we just moved in. And I'm making friends with kids in the neighborhood, or what having. The kid goes, "Oh, that's the house Miss So and So died in." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, she committed suicide or something." And so I went home. I'm like, "Mom, did you know?" So what? She goes, "Yes, I was trying to make sure you didn't hear that, because then you would
Got
move in
such a
the
deal.
house." Right. I think she did. She suspects that. And the worst part of it was um my mom's, she of course had the master bedroom, and it had an ensuite bathroom.
Yeah.
And right outside the door was a like a dark stain on the carpet. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
thinks she shot herself in the mirror and fell out the door. I'm like, good Lord.
The kilns didn't cover up the blood splatter.
I don't know. They tried to clean it, I guess. Well, that was her theory. We never did find
So,
out. And of course, there was no internet to look things up. So anytime a door swung shut or something in the house, you're like, "Oh, that's Miss So and So."
but you guys had a somewhat laissez-faire about it. I mean, it was just like,
I did. She thought I would be freaking out about it, which was normal for
we
me
had
at that age.
when I was in junior high, I guess same time frame. There were I didn't know these people, but kind of around about 2 miles away from where I live, there was a development, and this guy killed the whole family in there. And the place, I thought they would tear it down, but they sold it. It sat empty for about 5 years, and then someone bought it. But yeah, that would be creepy.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't bug me at all. But you know what I discovered? It's something extremely hard to do is
I don't know.
add time. Have you ever tried? Because I try to figure out.
Oh yeah,
I write down the start time, and then I want to add 45 minutes to it. And
Well,
you were talking there at the beginning. I'm like, I'm picturing a clock face so I can count off. There's just no easy way to do that, man.
I think you add 30.
Well, it's base
so
60. 722, I wrote it down.
Okay.
How quickly can you figure out?
So 52 would be 30. And then, oh boy, 15 after that. I don't know.
That's what I did. I did. All right. So 30 is
807. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yep. 807. It is.
Oh,
But,
that was a good guess.
that really hurt trying to. I'm like, how dumb am I that I can't
No,
add
it is painful.
45 to that number? Pat Kelly, is that something else that you
We're gonna have
renamed?
to get his permission to keep doing this. People out there are gonna say, "Wow,
Well, it's not exactly a unique name.
Well, it is. To
I get
him.
it.
I think he'd like to think so.
Now, if we want to give out his address and his home phone number,
No, we won't do that.
so hey, did you get a new home phone? Did you get a phone in your house?
What?
Do you have a home phone in your house?
Like a hard line?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You?
No, I was gonna make fun of you if you did.
No.
Yeah, and I'm still paying the maintenance fee. Remember that? You used to pay for your phones
Like
and
5 cents.
Inside maintenance for your wires. Things like that.
Yeah, well, that was a rip.
Yeah, it
For
was.
those cell phone poles. I don't even think they're putting copper in people. I guess they are for power. Are they
So
wiring people's phones anymore?
with between Wi-Fi and I particularly like hardwiring the internet around my house as much as possible because it's, especially for the main computer, it's just easier to troubleshoot. And that way, if the Wi-Fi goes down, I still have one PC.
So you've got Ethernet in the wall.
Yes. So what
Yeah,
I
well, that
did
makes
when I
sense.
built the house in Tennessee, I ran Ethernet cables all over. Now I haven't used maybe but a couple of them, but I just ran them all over where the house was open being constructed.
I think my computer. I don't know what I'm going to get up and look at. I think my computer is hardwired, and it could be wireless. I don't know.
Most come. I mean, are you using a laptop or like a
No,
desk?
I got a big desktop.
Yeah, it's probably hardwired then because
think it
most
is.
desks PCs don't come with a Wi-Fi card, so they come with the
I don't know.
Ethernet card because they're much cheaper.
In case you haven't figured out, folks, this is typically how we operate. By the way, I did listen to I had a bunch of cigars over the weekend, so I listened to probably 6 episodes.
Did you?
And we're not so bad. It's not a bad little show.
I will say this past episode, I usually listen to us in 1.5 or 1.75 speed because I know the conversation. But last week's I played at regular speed. What?
What's that like to speed us up? Do we sound different? I guess we would.
We sound like chipmunks. It was what it sounds like. And it's kind of entertaining, especially when we laugh. That's the funniest thing.
You can see little pieces of cheese we're nibbling on or something.
So I'll do that. And but I went to the NC State Duke football game last weekend, so I had quite a bit of driving to do.
The Blue Dukers and the Wolves.
The Blue Devils and the Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. Who won?
Duke.
Dookie.
Unfortunately, and
they lost to Miami or something the week before, didn't they? Dookie.
Well, of course, Miami lost last weekend too, I think. So they're out of top 15 and all that kind of good stuff. But hey, speaking of college football, a little update. Last week we talked about my
your
father playing for Rutgers football, and I did a little bit more research now that I knew he was on Team B or whatever it was. And so if you watch the YouTube version of this, I found a picture online of the 1933 team, which he was on. But what it was is he was on I forget how they named, there's a name for that league, but basically you had to be 150 pounds or less. And I mentioned on our main show that I was surprised he was on the football team because my family's not known for their size,
Right.
either
Well,
height
nobody
or.
was in 1930, by the way.
But anyhow, they went 6-0 that year, and I sent the picture to my father, and he thinks because it's kind of grainy, of course, but he's pretty sure he pictured out. So if you watch that YouTube version, he was middle row, third from the right would have been my grandfather. They went 6-0. They were national champions, and it beat like Yale and what's some of the other Lafayette College, which I used to live next to as a kid. I don't know if Cornell was on there, but anyhow, so I thought I'd bring
Yeah.
some validity to my guesses last week that I was making. So
That's pretty cool.
and you know what? They played that league until 1989 when it was disbanded.
The 150 less class?
Yeah, we got up to like 158 is what it was up to that level by 1989. So it wasn't I mean, I guess that's not very recent anymore. I mean, it was 30 years ago.
Like a 7-man league or something. I don't know.
Now this was full 11 on 11 as well, but
yeah. So during one of the shows I was listening to, of course, I think our advertisers are geographically suitable to wherever you are. Well, we have this law firm here in Jacksonville, Farah and Farah, Eddie Farah and his brother.
Oh, not Farrah Fawcett.
No, Farah and Farah. And one of their taglines is "We can help."
Get out.
Yeah, and I thought he's talking about.
Can we sue him?
Well,
wouldn't that be funny?
If you're in a semi-tractor trailer accident, we can help. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I wonder I don't think, what's the first chicken or the egg, us or them? I don't remember them having a campaign slogan that said we can help, but it was interesting.
And unfortunately, if you search "we can help" on YouTube, we're not even on the top 5.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, we got to get some people. We got to get some bodies.
Right. Oh, and also on YouTube, I've posted one short so far, and it's gotten a couple thousand views, so it must be half decent. So if you're on YouTube, you're subscribing, look up our short as well. I hope to post.
Was that the Bourbon short?
Yes, I think so.
The Bourbon. So I sent you a thing about my old granddad bourbon.
Oh, yeah, old granddad bourbon. I thought you meant your grandfather's bourbon. I'm like, no, you didn't send me anything like that.
But are you familiar with that? You said it was.
Yeah, I've seen it around before.
Because you said some time ago that your choice in bourbon is small batch because it's fun to say. But you like American bourbon.
American owned bourbon because it's such an American thing. And I believe in buying American as well.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I try and from local establishments as well as versus chains and so forth. It's getting more and more difficult over the years. But so that's my rules on bourbon. So once Jim Beam sold out, that's who owns old granddad, by the way, is Jim Beam or whoever owns them now. And I was like, nah, I got to find. So I looked up American owned bourbons, which there's very few large companies that are owned American still. So Evan Williams is still one of those. And so I started drinking Evan Williams Black Label. And then, and the other option you have is those boutique bourbons.
Yeah.
Yeah. My taste is not deserving of a $90 bottle of bourbon. I can't tell the difference. And so I looked up, what's a quality lower cost bourbon, and Evan Williams came in. And then one day they were out of Black Label and I bought their small batch and I really liked it. So I've been on the small batch ever since.
Do you drink the hot stuff, the Barrel Selects? Like the 100 and something proof?
The Bottled and Bond. That's called. And that's 90 proof because a bourbon has to be between 75 and 80 or something like that, or a Kentucky bourbon.
No, here we go again. There is a non-diluted straight off the barrel, like Barrel Select is one of those, but it's like 120 proof, 119 proof. You can't drink it; it's sipping. But
Well, sipping, drinking, whatever. I'm still getting hammered on that. Joey Proof.
so I've got a bottle. I don't know what it is. I think not Angels.
Angel's Envy, you mean?
Yeah, there's another one that I
That's a
got
Beam product as
from
well.
Allen, but it's one of these 100 and something. I do like the brand called Barrel Select though, and it's like 110, 119. And what I drink it out of is one of those, when you go to a party and they got that clear plastic, small, like a fruit cocktail cup.
Yeah.
It's like a Dixie cup, but it's clear and plastic. For whatever reason, it fits my hand. I'm doing this with my hand. It fits my hand really well. And I like drinking it neat out of those things because you can see it. But you don't have to put in not even an inch, just barely, I guess, a dram. And however much that is. I need to ask what that is.
Yeah, ask our research assistant.
Yeah, hang on a second. Alexa, how much is a dram of scotch?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, a dram is a colloquial term for a small amount of whiskey. The exact meaning of dram is 1/8 of a fluid ounce, though most drams of scotch are not measured that precisely and may be much larger than a dram.
1/8 of an ounce.
Yeah, so that's not a lot, but I don't think
No.
anybody's drinking a true dram, if that's what a true dram is. It's not a lot, is the point. So you don't drink it just to get pounded, because I don't know if you could stomach. You'd have to have a professional card to do that, probably. But I do like that hot. They say it's hot and
Okay.
spicy, and you just can't kill it. I guess you could, but I
Well,
don't prefer to
Okay,
do
so
that.
it's yeah,
It's like 118, 100, depending on what they are, 120.
Well,
I know
one
Barrel
night-
Select makes one.
a guy in my neighborhood used to spend time buying up bourbons and so because we're state stores here, and you have to watch what you can do is sign up for the distribution, and there's no rhyme or reason to which stores get which bourbons around here. So he would watch for special bourbons and buy them. And anyhow, he invited us over one night to, and I'm using my finger quotes, taste test some bourbons. Thank
Yeah.
God I was able to walk home that night.
Yeah.
You take a sip of 10 different
Yeah.
things of bourbon, you're hammered
Yeah.
after that. So they have a lottery here for the Pappy Van Winkle, which is the golden crown of Kentucky bourbons these days, just because it's so rare. I don't know if it tastes that great, but the ABC stores will hold a raffle every year for the 10 or 12 bottles they get, and they sell them to you at sticker price, right? They don't
Yeah.
elevate the price up like all the people do that get a hold of them.
That bullet I've been drinking is, I don't know who makes that.
That might no,
Is it American bourbon?
no, but I think I don't know if that's one of the boutique ones or not. I can't tell
Who
you.
owns Bullet Bourbon? Diego, an international spirits company, owns
There you
Bullet
go.
Bourbon. Where are they from, Diego?
Yeah, let me give you South America.
That sucks.
It's disappointing.
Hold on. Who owns Barrel Select Bourbon? The Sazerac company owns
Yeah,
Sazerac
that's the
Barrel
big
Select.
one. Yeah,
Is
they
that-
own
who are they
Beam.
from?
They're South American as well.
Okay, well, that's starting to piss me off now. So let's go back to this. So, what company? Okay,
This
Hold
is
on,
not
I got it,
making
I got
great
it, I got
pod here. You staring
no,
at
it
the
is
phone.
great. It is great pod. Which bourbon distilleries are still American owned? Okay, Buffalo Trace.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's what I was
Family-owned-
thinking Bullet was. Sorry.
Okay, Buffalo Trace Distillery, family-owned distillery that's been operating continuously since 1787, located in the Kentucky River.
Mhm.
It's in the river.
That's not. That's their problem.
Heaven Hill. I think this is a bottle I
Yeah.
have. Heaven Hill, privately family-owned distillery that's been produced in Heaven Hill. Brown Foreman.
Like I said, those are all kind of like boutique.
Maker's Mark. Now hold on.
No, Maker's Mark.
It says
I'm
located
surprised.
in Loretto, Kentucky. This distillery is owned by Beam Suntory.
Oh, that's they sold out.
Angel's Envy, located in Louisville, Kentucky. This distillery is owned by the Louisville Distilling Company, a subsidiary of Bacardi.
Which we know is not.
That's the
So
rum-
anyhow, you
Yeah,
get my
okay.
point.
Jim Beam's owned by China.
Yes, because so I always find it funny when we took me and Brad took a tour of the Jim Beam distillery before they sold to that company. And at the time, I forget the name of the family, the Booker family. Maybe it had
Yeah.
transitioned from the Beams to the Bookers or something like that.
Sure.
And they're like, Mr. Beam spends most of his time in Asia these days as the ambassador of Jim Beam. We all looked at each other because he was a big, fat, sweaty bastard. We were like, oh, I know what he's doing over there. It's not the
Stop.
ambassador.
Stop.
It was obvious.
Little people rubbing his feet.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, this big Asian firm buys.
You know who
Jim-
knows this stuff is Jeff Borzowitz. Hold on.
Is he still? Does he own a bar?
Does he what?
Does he own a bar?
Well, he owns a cigar company that
Right.
does the. Okay, Four Roses is owned by Kirin Brewing Company, which is headquartered in Tokyo.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad.
That's what I said.
Because I believe now I know that distilling spirits is not specifically an American pastime.
No,
The distilling of spirits has been going on since the time Jesus and before.
Right.
But I think it's such an American art form, distilling and brewing. And I know brewing starts back in Germany and Scandinavia and all
that
kinds of
stuff.
places. But it became such an American heritage between actually rolled tobacco leaf, you know, for cigars, and brewing and distilling. I think it's just
Anything with corn.
yeah, it's just a great American tradition. And then these companies sell out, and it goes back
greed.
to this.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to this what I call third generation America. You got the guys who land here first, you know, the Adolf Bush family, and they bring over what they knew to do, and then their family works all day long in the brewery, and then their kids grow up and work in the brewery and bust their tail, and then they have kids and say, I'm going to give my kids everything I didn't have, a college education, you know, they're going to drive the finest cars, they're going to have the greatest homes. And then when Junior or Triple, you know, grows up and suddenly this thing's worth $500 million, someone comes along from China and says, we want to buy it. And he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to smell like hops and barley. Let's sell it.
Yeah.
And it goes away.
I think I think there's you could sell it to another American company. You don't have to sell to the highest bidder.
Well, the greed part is when
Right.
you know they offered more than the other guy, but I don't know.
My thing is Kentucky bourbon, especially, is an American product, right? I mean, that's how else how could it be from somewhere? I don't mind buying scotch from another country or
Right.
rum or gin
Right.
or anything like that. But Kentucky bourbon, I try to buy from an American company.
Who owns Jack? Jack.
I don't like Jack Daniels, so I
don't like it either. But I mean, I wonder who owns it.
right. That may be the
Is
ironic.
Jack Daniels an American bourbon?
Well, it's an American bourbon, but is it owned by an American company?
Okay, it's a short answer is no. Jack Daniels is a Tennessee whiskey.
Right.
The slightly longer answer, because Tennessee whiskey is a subtype of bourbon that meets all the legal requirements, but has it. Okay.
What?
Hold on, I got it. Who is the parent company that owns Jack Daniels?
I think that's
Brown-Forman.
I don't know them, so. But the ironic part about Jack Daniels is that it's made in a dry county.
Yeah, Brown-Forman is, I think, an American company.
That's
Oh shit. Oops, sorry. Alexa, is Brown-Forman an American company?
From Curiosity.com. With over 150 years of enriching life and championing timeless values, this American company has cultivated a rich history that resonates across continents.
Okay, so maybe we look up Jack Daniels and Brown-Forman and see what they own.
But anyhow.
Yeah, we'll do that some other time. But...
Yeah, I think we've delved into that subject.
I want to convert our show just into drinking bourbon.
Well, that'd be nice. Maybe we go live on Friday nights. I try not to
How do we
drink
do
during
that? How do we do that with the podcast side of it?
the. I
We have
know
to
we can do it
stream.
with YouTube. I can go live, but so we'd have to drop. Yeah, the podcast would have to wait, I guess. Plus, I couldn't add snazzy graphics and stuff to the show. You know, where it says, please subscribe and our email address on the screen. Yeah,
Yeah,
all that
we could do a Facebook Live, but that's
no fun.
a different show, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And we drink. So, hey, two things real quick you just made me think of. If we do a drinking show, we should have a Sigma Chi on. We haven't talked about Sigma Chi in a while, but
well, one episode we missed it.
is that it? Just one?
Yeah. Usually we allude to something like I do have a funny thing, but go ahead.
Right. Well, so anyhow, hey Sigs, if anybody wants to come on and share their fraternity experience with us, we're more than happy to do that. Even as someone from a different fraternity, maybe with same kind of stuff. But anyhow, throw that out there. And I said two things, right?
Sure.
All right, I forgot the second. So
Well, I was going to give a shout out to the newly initiated brothers of the Ada Pi chapter for the fall pledge ship, and they put up of course they've got a Facebook page, and I
didn't know that.
coin phrase, pay your dues, nibs.
Did you put that on there?
Yeah.
Oh,
They had a
okay.
picture of all these, studly looking dudes out there by the front of the house with their shirts off, flexing. And I'm like, yeah, we would have never done that because we'd have been arrested.
Well, our guts would have been hanging out. But,
yeah, our beer guts and whatever. And so I posted, "Pay your dues, nibs." Got a lot of likes and hearts.
There you go. There you go. Donate to the House Committee too, would you?
Yeah, pony up because the old guys can't afford it.
I got other homes to pay for now.
Yeah, that's yeah, the ones we live in. Anyway, yeah, Sigma Chi, rah rah.
Go Sigma Chi.
Yeah, anyway,
So I had a thought this past weekend.
so a drinking show with Sigs. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might catch on. And what's required though is whoever comes on has to ship us a bottle each because we're in separate places.
Well, see,
So-
that was my MO. If we did some of these tastings and got a following, then maybe these companies would send us stuff. We would.
I will say I listened to one of the podcasts I listened to. There's a guy, God, I'll look up his name.
Like Kramer, we don't even have to get paid, just free coffee
Right.
for life.
He comes on the podcast with just cases of stuff shipped to him monthly.
That's what I'm
and
talking about.
What's that?
That's what I'm talking about.
I
We need to-
know. So it's out there, but he's been doing it his whole life, and you got to be an alcoholic, man. There's no
Yeah.
way.
Well, there's a downside to everything.
It's not such a
You have to do
alcoholic. Yeah, you lose your family, your wealth, and everything else. I mean, there's some
liver.
downside. There's some
the show. God
downsides
gave you
to
2
it.
kidneys, but you only get 1 liver. That wasn't the downside, by the way. The downside was you had to do the show.
You have to do the operation to get a new liver. And
No, this suddenly went south on us. Yeah, we couldn't do it during the week because some of us have jobs that we like to keep
Yes.
for a while.
show up drunk. I had to teach you to show up drunk.
No, we're not doing that. That's not even.
And we would come in and call him Professor. He'd get all pissed off.
Is that a real story?
Yes. And the worst part was he was a driver's ed teacher. He was
you
he was the football coach for the high school. And when he'd come in and we go, "Morning, Professor. Shut up, sit down." You know?
And he was loaded and he was a driver's ed teacher.
Yeah.
That might be why they had to discontinue that program. It's not.
We
the
had,
kids,
did
though.
you have driver's ed when you went to high school?
Yeah, but I never went to it. I missed it that year because I drove to Colorado with my my crazy mother.
We had Chevrolet Citations as the
Oh, the
cars.
front wheel drives.
But we never left the property. I'm so jealous of all the kids who got to leave the property with driver's ed.
Apparently, our kids went up on the highway and stuff. But I
Yeah.
always wanted to do it because they had that double. The teacher had a wheel too.
Yeah, and the brake pedal.
Yeah.
So
So I think that would be essential is the brake. Maybe a
Yes,
gas
yeah.
and brake.
Speed up.
I
I'd
mean,
be
you may have
floored
to
and
do
the
a
kids on their
defensive maneuver. You're like, what's going on in this car? I can't control it.
Oh.
I don't know.
So you missed the only reason I did it. Well, one, it was a easy A.
We get a better
But
insurance rate. Too,
yes,
didn't you?
that's what I did. And since I had to pay my own insurance if I was going to drive, so I did it for that reason. And you know,
I
$10 is
think it
10
was my
bucks.
junior year. We were supposed to do it, and I left. Gladys came up and picked me up in the '72 Pinto station wagon, and we drove
Ah,
from Atlanta to Colorado. And that was
sweet.
I knew how to drive, but that was my driver's ed. We basically got on the road and went off and did that. And I never took it for some reason.
I learned to drive in a Pinto as well.
Yeah, you told us so. Well, that's
Oh,
not
okay.
Pintos anymore.
Boring day.
Well, I mean, sometimes I want to hear those stories again, but not that one.
You never. Oh, I know which part you're thinking of. Yeah, I'm like, I don't have a funny story about learning to drive in the Pinto. Speaking of driving,
Okay.
so I was thinking about this week. Did you ever drive a motorcycle?
Yeah, yeah.
Like beyond the dirt lot
Oh, you mean like did I own one?
and drive it on the road or
No, I
yeah.
didn't have a rider. No, I mean
Well, so there were certain things like a motorcycle. Well, on a motorcycle, as you went down the highway, if a motorcycle was coming towards you, you would for some reason you'd wave at each other like, "Hey, yeah, I got a motorcycle too." You know, I don't
yeah,
know what
kinda
was
like
so exciting.
the universal nod.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was so exciting about that. You got a motorcycle? Yeah, so do I. You know,
I can
look,
see
look at
it.
me. But I guess you do that with like VW Bugs. I think
Yeah,
that
I think if
crew.
you're in a unique experience or commonality, you kind of go, "Hey, this guy's a weirdo like I am." Like, hey,
Right, or a Jeep. I think Jeeps are another one. So I was debating whether or not because I watch I watch stuff on YouTube live streams. I debate is do you think pilots do that? They cross each other in the sky, wave.
do they give the hand wave, the nod?
The other way, or they flash their headlights at each other as they go by. Say, "Hey, your high beams are on."
And you got a Delta 29 565 on the left there. I don't know. I've seen pictures where they tip their wings. Could that be
Usually they do that to people on the ground. I don't know if
you
they're
have
doing
that
it
with
at
authority that's what's going on?
30,000 feet or something like that.
I think at
So.
35, if they're tipping their wings at 35,000, a lot of people are getting the message.
So, they get on the thing.
Half the
Sorry,
East Coast.
we found a little turbulence here, people. Sorry for the upsetness.
What's your vector? Yeah,
Think they,
probably.
you think they flip each other off?
Do you watch that stuff? I think it's on Facebook most of the time, but it's the tower talking to these guys coming in, and they cop like an attitude. Like,
sometimes they do, yes.
yeah, they're like, Spirit, go ahead and turn left here. We're gonna need you. No, we're gonna need you to do a fly around because we have a VIP on the tarmac. And the guy goes, "The hell no! I'm already in my
Yeah, I'm
descent.
already
I'm
ready to
landed."
take off. Yeah.
That
So
scares me though.
there's a guy on YouTube. He's got a channel. He's a 747 pilot, mostly cargo, but he's got a channel. It's 74 Gear. I watch it, but he'll take situations in the news and explain the situation to it. And a lot of times his material includes the ATC audio feed and the pilot feed. And you'll hear them arguing with each other about stuff occasionally. And it's like you said.
Well, it's apparently if one of them screws up, so I guess the tower ultimately has authority. And so like the guy won't listen to him and the tower does this, okay, Delta 2956, do you have a pencil and paper to take a number?
Yeah, you take a number. They always say take a number.
And they're like, what does this guy have to call in when he gets downstairs and get paddled or something?
Yeah, they have to write a report up. So
goes,
like I said, this guy 74 Gear will explain it all. So if you're looking for something when you're done with the old We Can Help with Dave and Woody, tune into 74 Gear. Maybe I should pose the question to him if pilots wave to each other.
That's a grand idea.
I watch a lot of so I keep wildlife cameras or something on my work desk. I also do airport guys who do streaming airports, like takeoff and landings. They get the pilots to wave to them. I'm like, I don't want my pilot waving at some guy
Do you
on
have
the
an
side.
Do you have like an office cubicle with about 6 or 7 different monitors?
Yeah, I
And you get,
four.
can you imagine going down the hall and this guy's got, what do you watch? You watch Owls?
At a time. It's not all at once. It's one choice or the other. Typically, I'll find a European airport to watch in the morning because it's their afternoon over there.
No, but I'm
And
just saying though, if you're one of these guys that's got like 6 PCs and you're like, hey, what's with the guy with all the monitors down there? He works for the
Don't you worry
Audubon
about it.
Society. Yeah, leave him alone. He's got Owls.
You don't want to bug that guy. But one time I'm watching this, and pilots can open their windshields. The window pops in.
Yeah.
So and he's running, not while they're taking off. He's taxiing down the runway, and he pops the window open to reach out and wave to the guy on streaming on his side. I'm like, what? A little distracted. Maybe have it focus on the numbers and
Got
take
love
off
bugs
here.
on the windshield. He's trying to get them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, how useful at that point is a windshield, a windscreen? I guess you can see something. I don't know.
Well, that one guy, remember years ago, the one guy got sucked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guess that can
by the
avoid it.
time they land, so the co-pilot was able to hold his legs or something. I mean, this is a full-on airliner.
Did he
And but
survive it?
yes, but by the time he landed, he was completely naked because it ripped all his clothes off.
It was hailing on the way in.
So not only did he suffer the embarrassment of being halfway out the cockpit window, but he was butt-ass naked every time he
Hey
landed.
Johnson, that's some kind of Johnson you got going on there. All right.
Oh,
Had
all
to go
right.
dirty. Had to go dirty, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm sorry I led you in that way.
No, you did. You twisted my fate. All right. Well, tonight's show, I know
We're broaching the 7-minute mark.
so the one thing I did while I was enjoying a couple cigars.
Yeah.
Can you remember it?
No. I was going to feed you of something, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Was I did pick up on a thread that I think something that we're pretty good at is we do the weave. I don't know if you saw this interview with Trump recently. I know we're not
They
going to make
made
this
that up on the fly. You know that.
But yeah, whatever. But
He was talking about his hair.
we weave we weave in and out of conversations pretty well. I mean, if people don't realize this, we don't really write a lot of stuff down. We kind of have about a 5-minute pre-show conversation about a couple things, and then what we try to do is we'll start a conversation, and then where it goes, nobody knows. So, and maybe that's why our listenership is so far down. Nobody
Because
can
nobody
give a rat's.
knows. There's no consistency.
What the hell is this show talking about? Is it a show? I don't think so. I think it's just a
No.
call.
It's a conversation.
Two friends get together. Yeah.
Right. Hey, what I was going to feed you was you had a stock update.
No, I did. I do.
That was the only thing we talked about.
Yeah, that's
in the
true. That's
pre-show.
the one with the pre-show. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm playing this game. Well, it's turned into.
Well, you've
a little more than a
lost officially.
Well, it's kicking butt now. I'm at probably 37% return since the election. Thank you.
I would say,
Trump.
yeah.
No, I'm at 37% overall. So we started this thing in September of 20. Can you believe this? September of 23 is when this thing started. September 9th. And so year over year, all in, I'm 30. What did I say? 36% roughly.
You just said
market-
37. Now it's getting lower already.
No, it's 36, 37, whatever. it is.
Oh! I thought you meant your percentage. Never mind. You mean
Return.
your cash.
No, the return. The return is 36 or 37%. Anyway, the Dow Jones, the market. If I bought the market, it was roughly about almost 40. So I could have bought just a mutual fund, large cap mutual fund, and gotten 40%. But I want to risk it and get crazy and get 36% or 37%. Anyway, it's been fun. So here's what's happened. My strategy has changed a couple times, and now I'm holding 2 stocks. I'm in a company called BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed is it's a liberal news agency on the internet. I think it's tied to Huffington Post of all things. And
Huffington was owned by Verizon for a while.
Well, what's her name? Huffington
Yeah.
started whatever.
Yeah,
her
she
name is.
started, but she sold it. I think it got sold to Verizon at some point.
Well, I got the tip from my wife. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Vivek whatever his name is,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he purchased an S ton of BuzzFeed, like a million shares or something recently. I think it was his play like Musk did Twitter, because BuzzFeed is a very liberal left agency. And so I think it was his way of saying, I got a lot of money too. I'm going to buy a news agency, so I'm going to buy BuzzFeed. Well, anyway, a long story short, I've only got 200 shares of it, and it had an earnings report today. They jumped 5% in earnings, or 5
I was
cents per
thinking they
share.
went bankrupt. That's why I was.
Well,
If
the
you're watching
owner-
YouTube, I was going like, huh?
They had a little bit of a hostile kind of takeover because the owner played this game with A shares and B shares, and he was trying to keep. Well, I guess what he didn't realize was he's going to go public, make a ton of money, and then other people could buy the shares, and he could potentially lose control over it. And so he started this B share thing, and it got kind of muddy. And then Vivek did his thing. It's kind of a soft coup that's taking place, but they're moving it. They're changing management. Anyway, I'm not in it for a long play. As soon as this thing turns around, I'm going to dump. I'm already up a couple $100. But the cool play that I'm in now, we got out of Black Sky Technologies. Black Sky Technologies was like an 80-cent stock. I had a couple thousand shares of it. They did a reverse split 8-1 because they got a letter from the New York Stock Exchange saying you got to keep above $1 to stay on the exchange.
Yeah. Oh, so
And
they did
so-
a stock, not a split.
No, they reverse split where they take
Split,
it back.
right.
So for every share, 8 shares to 1
Right.
versus 1 to 8. But anyway, so it scared me a little bit first because as soon as they announced it, the stock started plummeting. But then I said, wait a minute, they're going to take this thing, make sure it's over $1. I'm going to buy more. So I bought a couple thousand more shares. And it turns
Listen,
out,
Mr. Moneybags here, people.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a couple thousand at 70, 80 cents a share, but we did well on it. We made some money. And so last week we made $600. So over 2 trades, we sold 300 and something and 300 something again. And so I've been buying Nerdy. Nerdy is a company out of St. Louis, NERDY, and it's trading right now about 82 cents a share. And it is a online tutorial company that hit it
Wow.
in 21 or 20 when the COVID thing was going on.
Weren't you in something like that before?
Well, I've been in and out of it a couple times,
Oh, okay.
but then I decided I'm just going to keep buying it. And so I got 5,000 shares of it right now. And they just got a letter from the New York Stock Exchange that they're in trouble. They've got to get above $1. Well, they have no debt. They have $64 million in cash they're sitting on. And they're like, no problem. We'll do a reverse split. And so I'm
Or they
thinking,
buy back. They could buy back stock.
well, they won't buy it back because then they're spending their cash.
That
So
usually, that'll take the price back up again.
well, so does the reverse split. And so so here's my thought. I said, wait a minute, they announced this before and the stock went down and then it turned around. And so they got to get above $1 anyway. So at 80 cents, it's already built in. They got to get to $1.
Well,
there's-
it's not guaranteed.
Well, but in order to, the whole idea is they call it curing the problem. The stock exchange says, we're going to send you a letter. They got the letter on the 12th
Right.
yesterday.
But that would
and-
imply the stock's been going down.
No, it just means it's not there. It's so diluted. There's so many shares. So what you do is you take the value of the company, divide it by the
Yes.
number of shares, and that's where you
gives
get a
your
price
stock
per share.
Right.
And so it just happens to be it's about 80 cents per share. Well, so they're going to do is they're going to shrink the dilution. They're going to narrow. They're going to take away shares by doing a reverse split, and it's going to. I'm thinking they're going to go probably 5-1, which would take it to about a 450 stock.
Yeah, as a big investor like you, I'm surprised they didn't call, make sure it was okay with you.
Well, I get to vote, so I'm going to vote for it. And
You
so,
have a couple thousand votes.
well, I'm going to buy a couple more thousand shares because it's already starting to go backwards. So I'm thinking, okay, this happened before.
Well, if they get rid of the education department, Nerdy might take off, man.
Well, I was hoping like Microsoft would buy it or something like that. You know, one of these guys would swoop in and get it because it's right for $64 million in cash just sitting there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's true.
long story short, I'm gonna buy. In fact, tomorrow I'm gonna buy another 1,000 shares. I hope to sell BuzzFeed. I've been very fortunate. I haven't put in any extra cash, so to speak, and I've been doing this stuff internal to the account. So we're up to about $7,000 in this
I
thing
like how
now.
you say we, and I'm not going to see a penny of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
Um,
who's
got-
remember that old joke?
got a
Who's we,
mouse in my pocket.
Kemosabe? Remember that one?
But it's been a fun game. I've been very fortunate. Oh, here's the other part I wanted to do. I wanted to make $100 a month in sales, cash. I
Right.
would make gains. Well, I'm at $1,400 this year. So I've made just over $100 a month in selling. Now I've had stock value appreciation that I haven't sold yet, but I wanted to hit $100 a month just to see if I could do that. So I need to figure out my goal for next time. What am I going to do for next year? If I could finish probably.
You're going to make me $100 a month
Well,
this-
let's get to that. But I
on
mean,
this
I think
podcast thing.
I'm probably going to finish the year probably $1,600 in cash above.
All right. So we're going to host a We Can Help party.
No.
Okay. Well, I tried.
I'm just trying to set a goal for next year, maybe $3,000 or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, it's
It's
time
been
to say
fun.
goodnight.
Is it? It is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a fun game. We'll keep doing it.
All right.
All right. Well, I don't know what we did this show. It was fun. It's good catching up with you again, like we always do on whatever day this is. And look for us on Friday. I'll push this out on Friday morning, and I'll get your video up to you.
You act like people are listening to this live. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll wait till Friday then and listen to it.
That's a good point, because right now they just heard that. Wait, what did he just say? It's Saturday, for God's sakes. I missed it.
But the YouTube video will be out on Sunday.
Oh, like it matters. Same principle.
No,
with you.
it's not, because they'll be listening to this on Friday and go, hey, I'm going to watch it on YouTube on Sunday.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, see?
Not if I don't put mine out till Sunday.
Yeah, and he's the financially savvy guy, people.
I got my ear to the ground, man. My ear to the ground. All right, let's get out of here. So you've been listening to yet another titillating-ish episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. Please subscribe. Mash the subscription button. Like and follow us on YouTube. Put a thumbs up. Ring the bell. Dance around on one leg. I don't know, whatever you got to do. And then wherever you listen to the podcast, on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podcasts Addict. What's the other one?
That's it. No, you got it.
Yeah, okay. And for you Sigma guys out there, suck it. Or in
Pay your
hope.
dues.
What a pay your dues, losers. All right, we're out. See you. Bye.